So the first things that I'm always looking at is how does someone start the day? Not only how are they waking up, but like what are they doing that very first hour of the day? I think it's super critical to not immediately dive into the weeds, not immediately check email, take some time to yourself to be intentional, get moving, that sort of thing. And then what's the very first thing that they work on? And that planning habit is something that I really emphasize. It's like the less time that you have, the more time that you need to be spending planning, because the importance, right? The average level of value or leverage of the thing you're working on, the less time that you have, the more important it is that you decide very well how you utilize that limited time. So I would say like the first hour that you're in the office, work on the most important thing. If you work on that, the whole rest of the day is bonus. Like that first hour, kind of what I call monk mode, starting inward before going outward. And then power hour, first hour in the office, working on your most important thing. That's the 80-20. If someone can maintain that every day, they're in a good spot. And it's amazing how if the day starts really well, it tends to end very well. So that's always the first place that I start. Taking a step back from that, I'm always looking at someone's ability to follow through on commitments. How do they prioritize on a daily, weekly basis? What's their way of kind of capturing the things that they're accountable for? So this is something that I'm seeing a lot, especially post-COVID, is just this feeling that things are falling through the cracks. And so having a really good system that someone trusts to capture all these ideas, to capture all the things they're committed to remind them to, hey, I'm waiting on this thing, or I need to answer this message, or I need to check in with this person. Having that arise at the moment that it's actionable, putting that system into place is like having something like that you trust, where you can, close your computer at 5:30, ideally, having that hard stop and just put work completely aside, confident knowing that you can pick up right where you left off. There's so much power in that. So that's a really common place that I start. Once those building blocks are in place, I'm always looking for the bottleneck. And so I usually find that the bottleneck falls into one of three buckets, time, energy, and attention. And so, once that foundation is in place, once I have some buy-in, that's when we get a little bit more tactical in terms of like what's preventing them from reaching the next level, and doing whatever you can to elevate that bottleneck at least up to the other levels of their life. And usually that's an investment mentality, is where can you take one unit, whether it's, money, time, energy, attention, et cetera, and invest it in order to get 2 units elsewhere. That's where it gets really fun. But it's very easy, and I think where a lot of people go wrong with this stuff is starting there with the tactical. It's like, that's the last mile. Making sure that you start the day in the right way and that you work on your most important thing. Like that's 80-20.
Subscribe to Outliers with Daniel Scrivner now in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And be the first to hear about new episodes and receive exclusive content by joining our newsletter at outliers.fm. I can't wait to help you level up and live your best life.